Welcome to That Bigfoot Show, yes, that one, and I'm your host, Taylor James Johnson, and today is a very, very special episode of That Bigfoot Show, even though they're all special in their own special way. Today I will be taking a deep dive into two of the most interesting Bigfoot films ever made, Willow Creek and Exists. And these are not just, regular, ordinary, everyday Bigfoot movies. No, these are found footage Bigfoot horror movies. And then you're like, hey, why are these Bigfoot horror found footage movies so important, and why are you talking about them both? Well, because they both came out pretty much at the same time. That's right, you may not have noticed, but back around 2014-ish, there were two Bigfoot found footage horror movies that you could watch for your viewing pleasure. It's one of those deep impact Armageddon, A Bug's Life, Ants kind of situation. They say that lightning doesn't strike twice, but this time it kind of did. And at first I just wanted to look into one of these films, but you know what? You can't. You can't mention Willow Creek without mentioning Exists, and you can't mention Exists without Willow Creek. So, we're gonna do a double feature on That Bigfoot Show. Thank you so much for watching. Before we begin, please like, share, and subscribe, and click that bell to get notifications for upcoming content. Now, back to the show. Willow Creek was released to streaming services September 9th, 2014. From director Bobcat Goldthwait.
Thank you very much! Thank you very much! It feels... Thank you...
Yeah, that guy. The stand-up comedian. He's also a filmmaker. And he's also a Bigfoot enthusiast. This is a very unusual passion project for him. But as you know, this is a found footage horror film, and Bobcat said that he hates found footage films. So why make one? We're not sure, and I don't think Bobcat is even sure about that, but he just, for some reason, felt like he needed to make this movie. He usually tackles very dark subject matter, and compared to his other films, this is very, very tame and kind of generic. And I don't really mean that in a bad way. It's just a very unusual artistic expression. And Willow Creek was filmed, in the Bluff Creek area. The Bigfoot film, the real one with Patty. Yeah, they went to that real location to shoot this not real documentary. And guess what? This one's only like an hour and 20 minutes. So it won't take up your full day. Critics seem to like this movie more than audiences, with an 80% tomato rating from those critics and a 34% tomato rating from those audiences. A house divided. And those people on IMDb gave it 5.1 stars. Right down the middle. And the most interesting thing about this film is that it's mostly improvised, and you can tell, but in a good way. It feels real. The couple in this, they have real chemistry. The actors, the characters by themselves may not actually be that great or interesting, but them as a couple, you can really feel the love there, the attraction, chemistry, which says a lot about these actors because their first time meeting was the first day of shooting. But from the moment they're on screen, you feel like they've been in a committed relationship for a while. And yes, this one right here is straight up pure, raw, true found footage. Like, it has jump cuts, outtakes, really long takes, no soundtrack whatsoever. This is like, yeah, somebody found this footage and decided to release it to the public. It's pure, it's simple, and that's probably the best part about it. Actually, the absolute best part about this movie is that you never see the creature. Never, ever, ever. It's the theater of the mind. It's your imagination that scares you in this one. Like Jaws, until they show the shark. But in this one, never see it. Spoiler alert, you never see Bigfoot in this one.
Action.
Are you gonna say action?
Don't do that. That's gonna mess me up.
So the film begins with this couple, a boyfriend who believes and a girlfriend who's a non-believer. I found that most girlfriends are. So we get to know this couple as they drive around to the Bigfoot Mecca, as they call it, where this boyfriend is eager to make a little documentary on the legend of Sasquatch, while having a fun, romantic camping trip at the same time. Mixing cryptozoology with pleasure, I see. So yeah, they drive around, they express feelings and emotions and let you know about their characters and their motivations. Then they go eat a Bigfoot burger, and the girlfriend seems to always make awkward penis jokes, wherever she is. And not just any penis jokes, Bigfoot penis jokes. And of course, they admire the culture of the Sasquatch-obsessed town that they're in. Bigfoot this, Bigfoot that. They even stay in a Bigfoot hotel. And missing persons signs are scattered throughout. They interview some locals, some eyewitnesses, some experts, and a lot of these people are real. They're playing themselves. Through the power of Sasquatch cinema, Bobcat is crossing and blending the lines of fiction and nonfiction. And these loud, annoying amateur documentarians eventually end up getting threats with a mysterious message saying to leave, and a very, very scary, up-close and personal threat from a very, very scary hillbilly-type person. But this boyfriend didn't come all this way just to turn around now. No, he's on a quest, on a mission to make a really horrible documentary. They eventually get to a point where you can't drive anymore. They hop out of their cars and hike. After some full frontal male skinny dipping, our protagonist finds his socks up in a tree and their campsite completely vandalized. But he says, don't worry, it's probably just a bear.
I wouldn't worry about it. It's probably just a bear.
Just a bear? Oh, great. That makes me feel good.
Which, yeah, I agree with the girlfriend on this one. That's just a stupid thing to say. But nothing will keep this stubborn young man down, and they rebuild. Then jump cut to them running through the woods at night. It's scary, oh my god, what is chasing them? And hey, it's just a raccoon. Bobcat tricked us with a raccoon. Then we go into the tent, and we stay there for a long time. Like most of the movie is this shot. I'm not even joking. And we all know that deep down, Bobcat is a sweetheart, and he wanted to put some romance into this Bigfoot found footage horror movie. And we get a very touching scene where the boyfriend proposes. And she doesn't say yes. They agree to move in together though, so it's like totally cool. He then tries to Tommy Lee her Pamela Anderson, but she ain't having none of that, and they turn off the camera for some very awkward romantic privacy. Then jump cut! They awake. Then, around 47 minutes into this movie, the infamous one take begins. Even though it kind of already began during the proposal, but this time you can tell there are no cuts for like 18 minutes. So Bigfoot or something is out there and it's circling the tent. You can hear it. The leaves are a-crackling. There's growling, hooting, knocking. It builds and it builds and it builds. The suspense, it sucks you right in. And the framing of this shot and the length of this shot, it makes you feel trapped. You are there, trapped in that tent with these non-fiancés. Then there's this long, haunting Squatch call. Rumor has it these Squatch voices are done by the director himself, Bobcat. Of course, the girlfriend is terrified, but the boyfriend, he's fascinated. He's a big, brave man. Nothing scares him. Yet. And then we hear crying. Like woman crying. Woman, human crying. And that finally makes the boyfriend scared. They turn off the lights. I'm not sure if the editor made a cut here or not, but the shot seems to continue. And this thing out there comes closer and closer and closer. You can hear it. Wonderful sound design. And then there's a great jump scare right there. Oh my gosh. Then finally there is a actual cut. It's the next morning and our heroes are trying to just get out of there. They gotta hike back all those miles back to the car. The boyfriend then collects some hair samples, like a good little cryptozoologist, but those howls and those knocks, they continue. Then, they lost. And they have a lover's quarrel. And for some reason, he films it all.
Look, you're overreacting, all right?
I'm overreacting? Are you serious?
Rocks are thrown, and they scream, and they run. Then they make it to the creek, where the boyfriend finds footprints. And actually, behind the scenes, the filmmakers accidentally left those Bigfoot prints there, becoming accidental hoaxers, I'm sure. And as the sun is going down quick, something violently shakes some bushes, and they run. And it's night again, and there's more howling, and it's still scary. They continue to run through the darkness. Then suddenly they come upon a figure. And just as you expect to see a ferocious Sasquatch, you see something even more terrifying. Spoiler alert here, if you care. And this right here is actually the moment where you can tell that Bobcat directed this. A large, naked, human woman appears, strongly implying that she is one of those missing persons, and is possibly Bigfoot's baby-making slave? I don't know. Yeah, it gets pretty dark and horrible right here. This is why they call it a horror movie. And then out of nowhere, the beast appears and kills boyfriend viciously. All off camera, of course. As girlfriend is heard in the distance being taken away by the creature. Then we hear just a horrifying, terrifying sound of multiple Sasquatches screaming their horrific scream, as the girlfriend probably awaits the same fate as the missing person. Yeah. Then credits and rock music. Yeah! So that was Willow Creek. Now it's time to take a look at Exists. Then just a few months later came Exists. It hit streaming services February 3rd, 2015, and is also like an hour and 20 minutes long. Exist was not appreciated by the critics as much, and equally hated by the audiences, with 33% from those critics and 29% from the audience, the regular peoples. And on IMDb, this one actually has 1 point higher than Willow Creek with 5.2. So yeah, and Exists is very, very interesting because it is from the director of the Blair Witch Project, Eduardo Sanchez. So when it comes to found footage, this guy knows what he's doing. When compared to Willow Creek, this one is a little more fun and silly. But is that a bad thing or a good thing? Let's find out. As we know, Willow Creek took place in California, but Exist takes place in Texas. Filmed on location as well. This opens with a very unusual, PSA, I guess. Text appears on the screen telling us that Sasquatch do not attack unless they're provoked. Like we're watching Grizzly Man or something. So I guess that kind of adds to the this is a found footage film. But instantly, that found footage vibe is kind of shattered, because this film is obviously, right away from the opening credits, is presented in a traditional edited way. Like, this film was edited. Like, there's cuts. Like, somebody found this footage of young people getting murdered and was like, I'm going to edit this together and add a soundtrack. So yeah, this is not a pure found footage film like Willow Creek, or even like the Blair Witch Project. But, it still qualifies as a found footage film because all of the footage is found. It's just, it's edited together, giving it a more Hollywood feel than Willow Creek. Exists has your classic cabin in the woods slasher scenario, but this time the slasher is, covered in hair. And of course, since this is basically a slasher film, the movie features a group of diverse young pretty people. whose main motivations are to get tipsy and have premarital relations. So yeah, they're on a camping trip looking to party. It's straight up, Evil Dead stuff. So let's meet our characters, shall we? The characters aren't exactly the strongest or most memorable part of the film, so I don't really remember their names. So let's just call them redhead, curly hair, sexy black guy, and two Caucasian brothers. We'll call the guy with the beard GoPro Bro, and the other guy, we'll call him Bike Bro, because later on he has a bike. And redhead is dating sexy black man, and curly hair is dating Bike Bro. So yeah, these party people, they're driving at night, and then suddenly they hit something. And there's blood on the car, but it's probably a deer. Until they hear a monstrous shriek and then see something move. These definitely are not the Hendersons, and they definitely did not hit Harry. Here's a fun fact. Bigfoot actor Brian Steele actually played Harry in Harry and the Hendersons, the sitcom. So this guy had some Squatch experience. But this is not gonna stop our partiers. Nothing is gonna stop them from partying. So they continue to drive to the party cabin. But the road is blocked by a huge tree. I wonder how it got there. So like I said, nothing can stop these party people from partying. So they get out of the car and decide to walk the rest of the way to the party cabin. But of course, they hear more growls. They arrive at the cabin and it's not exactly, clean. Then they hear even more growls and the creature comes closer and closer and closer, and then suddenly, false alarm, it's just a random pig. But they've had all they could take from this creepy cabin, so they go back to sleep in the car, where of course they continue to hear mysterious sounds. The next morning, they check the car and find hair and blood. And GoPro Bro talks about how, quote, pimp his shots are gonna be. And he basically does a GoPro commercial and talks about how he plans to make, quote, the best YouTube video ever. Then the party ventures down to the watering hole with some bikes. Then there's a fun little montage. It's like Jackass, but nobody gets hurt. Then the GoPro Bro YouTuber is totally perving out, filming intimate moments of the sexy black guy and the redhead. And while he's witnessing the romance, we legit see a Bigfoot run by. And rightfully so, the lovers, they get upset at the peeping Tom and take the memory card that's full of love-making and Bigfoot making. So GoPro Bro sparks up a doobie and investigates, like a good cryptozoologist should. Then he confesses that the owner of the cabin, his Uncle Bob, saw something similar a while back, and that's why he abandoned the cabin. He finds some footprints and hears some growls, sees a dark figure, he's very scared, he goes back to the cabin and smokes another doobie, and vlogs about it. Then GoPro Bro takes off into the woods to confront the creature, because he just wants to be friends.
I just want to be friends.
Then there's another jump scare, and it's just his brother and his friend shooting paintballs at him, because that's what friends do. But then they soon hear a real Sasquatch scream, and everybody bolts back to the cabin. Lights off. The monster, it surrounds them. It's tormenting them in darkness. The suspense, it builds, the horror. Then there's a really cool night vision jump scare where we see the creature in a close-up. Just for a little bit. This movie is still pretty much just getting started, and we have already seen more of the monster than in Willow Creek. But is that a good thing or a bad thing? Let's find out. Then morning comes and they find out that Sasquatch has destroyed the car. They trapped. So they run back to the cabin, and more confessions are made, and it is revealed that nobody knows where they are. Don't ever go into the woods and not tell anybody where you're going. Then Bike Bro finally lives up to his name and he bikes off to get help. Because there's no cell phone reception, of course, because, it's a modern day horror movie. back at the cabin, the rest of the party people are blocking the doors and holding up the fort, preparing for the next Squatch attack. Then, once again, very much like the Evil Dead, they find a basement, a dark and spooky basement. And because it's Texas, they also find a gun. Then whoever's editing this found footage of people getting murdered cuts back to Bike Bro, who's finally getting cell phone service to call Uncle Bob. But then, of course, the big guy appears, and Bike Bro bikes off as the Squatch chases him. Bike Bro is knocked off his bike and hits the ground, breaking his legs, compound fracture style. He limps away as the Squatch slowly approaches, almost in a Mike Myers-type fashion, and makes his kill. Then whoever's editing this found footage of people getting murdered cuts back to the cabin, where the Squatch has returned, throwing the bike. The party people continue to barricade the cabin doors, and we get some Night of the Living Dead type vibes from this. Or signs, at least. And then, because he's smart and knows how electricity works, Bigfoot takes out the generator. Power out. Scariness increases. The window breaks and sexy black man fires his sexy gun. They keep trying to block the doors and he keeps trying to get in and we can't see much and that's what makes it so scary. Then the monster grabs redhead girl and, kills her. So the rest of the party people escape to the basement. And then there's Sasquatch's eye, oh my god! Bigfoot breaks through to the basement and sexy black man fires his gun. Bam! Bigfoot leaves. The next morning they find blood. They've either killed it or pissed it off even more. No longer feeling safe at the cabin, the surviving party people venture off into the woods, leaving the body of the dead redhead behind. Then, of course, they decide to take a shortcut, and more scary, monstrous noises follow them. Soon they discover Biker Bro's bloody helmet. It's very sad. And curly-haired girlfriend tries her best at an Oscar moment, or at least something to put on her acting reel. The three survivors find cover and try to sleep. I don't know how you could. Then GoPro Bro doesn't spark a doobie because of character development, I guess? Or it would probably attract the Squatch. But whatever, because it found them again, and sexy black boyfriend has had enough. And he goes on a frickin' ham revenge rampage with his shotgun. And it's a wonderful, beautiful moment of cinema.
I'm killing this motherfucker right now! Where you at? Where you at? Huh?
But then Bigfoot throws some rocks and they run. And what do you know, they find a deserted RV camper trailer type thing. But then they hear the cries of Biker Bro. He's alive, you guys, he's alive! And that's when they come upon the most iconic image from this film, the upside down tree from the poster. And the Biker Bros screams, it turns out they're coming from a tunnel, like a Sasquatch nest. And this is GoPro Bro's heroic moment. He must go down and save his Bike Bro. Armed with night vision and a single shotgun shell, our GoPro hero goes in to save Biker Bro. And he finds Biker Bro. Turns out Bigfoot was saving him for a snack or a mate. Or it was probably bait to get the other party people to come, I guess. Then suddenly, of course, Bigfoot is there. And you can't really see him, but that's what makes this one of the scariest moments of the film. And he fires the gun. Bang! And drags his bro out, and they get to the camper RV trailer thing. And wow, they made it. Are they safe? Is the movie over? No, actually, there's still like 18 minutes left. By some miracle, they get some cell phone reception, and Uncle Bob calls. And then they find some random fireworks. So sexy black boyfriend goes off to blow them up to signal for help, taking the GoPro with him because this part needs to be in the movie. We need to see this footage. Footage like this. So yeah, of course, Bigfoot chases him back to the camper, and we have a full-on Sasquatch attack, killing sexy black boyfriend. But at least the GoPro still works. The angry Sasquatch pushes the camper off a cliff. Bang, pow, boom, ouch. GoPro Bro is injured. Bike Bro is dead. Curly hair girlfriend is dying. Dead. Then there's a really cool shot of Squatch jumping in. Like a big hairy ninja or something. GoPro Bro makes a mad dash into the woods as the hairy one chases on. Shaky cam galore. Because, this is directed by the guy who did the Blair Witch Project, remember? He falls to the ground. Out cold. And Sasquatch gets up in his personal space. And he either wakes up or was playing possum and his eyes open. And just when you think everything is safe, GoPro Bro gets dragged away, dropping his camera like an amateur. But at least sexy dead black boyfriend's GoPro is still running. And GoPro Bro, he's not dead yet. He's the sole survivor amongst the dead bodies. And then he finds another dead body. Spoiler alert coming up if you care. He sees a dead baby Sasquatch. This, right here, is the reason for the rampage. These party people turned this juvenile Squatch into roadkill. And now Mama or Papa Squatch is rightfully pissed. Then the angry parent returns and continues the beatdown. But just when you completely forgot about Uncle Bob, he appears and saves the day with his gun, but is quickly added to the victim list. And somehow GoPro Bro obtains Uncle Bob's gun and has a final face down with the creature. And we finally get a nice, clear close-up of the creature. And the makeup and effects, they're nice, they're good. Right here in this moment, the film just says, screw it! This is a creature feature. Let's show the damn costume we paid for. But then GoPro Bro, you know what? He's had enough. He just wants to be friends. So he drops the gun and gives up. And he sets up a death selfie, Blair Witch nostril style, just awaiting the final blow. And you know what? There's actually a happy ending. The creature forgives him and walks away. Credits! And so there you have it, the double feature of Willow Creek and Exists. And you know what? I was actually planning on, comparing and contrasting these films and at the end, picking a favorite. But after watching these again back to back, I really can't recommend either of them separately. But as a double feature, these two works of art complement each other. Willow Creek plays out as a nice little starter appetizer to kind of get you in the mood, and then Exists just goes full out bonkers. And yeah, they both benefit from it. I appreciate each film more after watching the other, if that makes any sense. And don't just watch one. Watch them both. Back to back, or at the same time. Let's see. But yeah, if you disagree with me and you actually have a legitimate favorite, if you think one is better than the other, please comment your comment in the comments, and we'd love to hear from you. And if you have ever had a real life Willow Creek or Exist type experience, please let us know, and we'd love to talk to you. So yeah, what a lovely double feature. Thank you for joining me, and I've been your host, Taylor James Johnson, and this has been That Bigfoot Show. Yeah.